Eyewitnesses said that the car turned out actually quite fast lah. And then, like Jordan said, the first reaction of the driver is to come down and blame people first, like point fingers and say, hey, why you never see? Then realizing the severity, and then, the husband said that the wife was panicking and was truly sorry, this kind of thing lah. And welcome to the Lao Jiaos Podcast. This is where we bring you unfiltered and unapologetic take on the news, current affairs, and all the things people pretend to understand. I'm your host, Tinga, and with me is fellow Lao Jiao, Jordan. How are you doing?
It's a good evening. Quite hot though today. I think like
sibei hot, yeah. Last night, I woke up a few times because of the heat, I feel.
You don't on aircon?
I don't on aircon.
Wow. Salute.
Actually, recently, right, the DOJ released over 3 million pages of Jeffrey Epstein files, including flight logs, emails, photos, and memos that detailed his network and federal handling of his case. Now, he named a lot of high-profile figures like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Donald Trump. Now, actually, Bill Gates met Epstein multiple times from 2011 to 2014 seeking philanthropy funding. And actually, there were files citing 300 plus references and unverified draft emails alleging that Epstein helped cover Gates' alleged affair and procurement. Elon Musk also appears in name-drop emails but denies close contact. Bill Clinton took 26 plus jet flights post-presidency without violent visits per his denial, and Prince Andrew faces reiterated lawsuits claims he settled. Trump had early 2000 social links and a positive quote but banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago with no island accusations. Now, I wanted to ask Jordan. Now, this case has been around for quite some time already, but it has really been going nuts on social media recently. Which part about the expose were you most shocked about when you learned about this Jeffrey Epstein files?
I've watched the documentary on Netflix about this Jeffrey Epstein. Just today, I had a talk with my family about it. I didn't know that Jeffrey Epstein died already. So there's a few scenarios that people think that committed suicide or someone sent someone to kill him. Of course, there's too many links between him and Trump's. I think what shocked me the most is that now then they bring up the case more and more because of the pressure from the social media side. Then of course now is under the Trump era, which Trump is heavily involved lah.
I agree with Jordan in the sense that I question the timing of the release. I cannot go past the conspiracy theory that they are trying to use this as a smokescreen for something even bigger, or there's an even bigger cover-up, draw people's attention away from lah. Because the time at which it came out and it only targeted a few high-profile individuals, right? I feel that is a bit suspicious lah. So I feel that they are trying to cover up or draw people's attention away from maybe more important or more bombastic news lah. That is my take lah.
I think like Trump has some documents doctored.
There's two ways to look at this. Okay, the first way we just discussed was that this is a cover-up, or they're trying to draw people's attention away from even bigger stuff. Or the second one is Trump used this as a warning, like he said, hey, I got two files, you see, I already exposed to media Bill Gates and these few high-profile individuals. Those that you don't want your things to be exposed, right? You better pay up your taxes, or you better pay the US government money. That's how I see it lah. I just feel that he's using this as a bait to ask for money lah for some of the high-profile individuals lah. That to me is the one that makes the most amount of sense lah. We can now move on to our main segment, but before our episode, a word from our sponsor. This week's episode of the Chit Chatter Podcast is brought to you by our amazing friends at Mandai Smoke Co, Singapore's go-to delivery-only smokehouse for Texas-style BBQ delivered straight to your door. They specialize in low and slow smoked meats like 12-hour smoked boneless beef short plate, juicy pork belly, and tender pulled pork, all with that bold, primal flavor from wood-fired pits. No shortcut. Sick of steamboat because you eat that all year round anyway? This is your sign to add Texas flair. Trade standard pork for smoked pork belly and roll into the new year with some boneless beef short plate right now with Mandai Smoke Co. They are open for islandwide delivery every Saturday and Sunday from 10:30 to 8:30 p.m. For CNY, they will be specially open for CNY Eve dinner, 初一 and 初二. Free delivery for orders above $150. Head to mandaismokeco.com now to check the menu and lock in your order. Once again, big thanks to Mandai Smoke Co for sponsoring this episode. Huara! And now, back to the episode. Okay, so on to our main news segment. I think this is a really sad case that has been circulating around in the news recently, and that is a girl aged 6 died in a car accident near Chinatown after being run over by a driver who was making a turn out near South Beach Road. Now, the video of her father crying and pleading for help went viral on the internet, and victims were reportedly from Indonesia. According to the police, they were conveyed conscious to the hospital. That means the girl and her mother, who were both the victims of the accident, and the 6-year-old subsequently passed away. Passerbys attempted to help. Some applied pressure to the young girl's face, others provided umbrella, and the Indonesian embassy in Singapore said that officials had met with the girl's father and are rendering assistance to the family. And actually recently, these few days, I think the news is that the mom has woken up from but is still in ICU lah.
But then I read on the article saying that first the driver was in denial that she kept blaming the two of them that y'all never watched the road and all this. Then after that, slowly when things get more serious, she noticed that oh shit, someone's life been taken. Then she began to realize I think it's her fault of not careful enough lah.
Eyewitnesses said that the car turned out actually quite fast lah. And then, like Jordan said, the first reaction of the driver is to come down and blame people first. Like point fingers and say, hey, why you never seen? Then realizing the severity, and then, the husband said that the wife was panicking and was truly sorry, this kind of thing lah. So I'm not a driver. Okay, but I wanted to ask Jordan, Singapore driving scene or drivers, we sometimes are a bit too kanchiong and like too, how do you say, when we drive, sometimes we like a bit road rage kind.
I agree lah. Driving in Singapore can be quite stressful. Despite how many years I'm driving into it, I still practice what needs to be done lah. I'm bad at multitasking. So I know I'm bad at multitasking. I shouldn't be using the phone while I'm driving the phone. Yeah. Know your weakness lah. Don't try to be gung-ho or hero.
I go Guangzhou, right? Okay, Guangzhou's traffic is dangerous because of the e-bikes and the bicycle lah. Okay, and the motorbikes, not because of the car itself. Okay, the car drivers, I feel that because of how many e-bikes and whatnot, right, the cars are actually relatively safer. But I do feel that Singaporean drivers, sometimes we in too much of a rush, okay, and then sometimes we kanchiong, sometimes we horn, and then it always doesn't lead to good things lah. Like sometimes like Lao Jiao drivers, people that drive 10 years, 20 years, they tend to over assume certain things. Sometimes all it takes is just one thing you forget to do or one thing you assume, and then the next thing you know, you bang into someone, and then like in this case, this person life 就是这样子 gone now. Driving, you can never be overly cautious lah. You always need to do all the right things and then like Jordan say, try not to multitask, and then how do you say, have this kind of attitude that you are driving and you have to be cautious lah. I feel that in Singapore we just trying to get to point A to point B and as fast as possible kind of thing. I think it's really a tragic piece of news. But really our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and hope they can find the strength to get past this incident and go on with life lah. This one is also another sad news, which is the family of the underage girl that was sexually assaulted by former MediaCorp actor Ian Fang has withdrawn their civil lawsuit against him. This follows the revocation of Fang's permanent resident status by Singapore's ICA on February 5 after his May 2025 conviction and 40-month jail sentence. And plus taken into consideration charges of obstruction of justice and stalking, the family cited the victim's wish to move forward amid Fang's impending deportation and re-entry ban. What were your first thought about the incident, and how do you think like we can better help some of these victims of this kind of crime?
My first thought and reaction, I totally understand why the family and the girl come into a conclusion to drop the lawsuit. First and foremost, if you were to continue on with the lawsuit, she have to literally always be prepared to face with all these questions, like reenact in her mind and all this. Yeah, let's put a full stop. Whatever we tried, we tried our best. Like she got the family already. Now she really need to get back to her normal life with the friends and all this. You don't need a lot of good friends. You need a few true friends.
I think it's always the victim or like the girl that is the biggest, how to say, loser in this whole case lah. Okay, because you are the one that has to, like Jordan say, go to court every few months, and then they will have to testify again. As we all know, this kind of court case 不是去一次就 settle one. They have to like first hearing, second hearing, later he appeal, you have to go to court again and then be called as witness again. It doesn't help in a girl's recovery process, especially when she's 15. But part of me, I feel that this guy got off easy lah. This whole thing came to light because at 15 years old, right, this girl started feeling, I think, itchy or seeing some funny discharge and then had to go hospital. And then the hospital detected that she had sexual disease, then had to call the mother. And then, of course, you can't have sexual disease without having sex. That's when they realized that she actually slept with this actor. Then that's how this whole case came to light. Victims of this kind of crime, they should come out, or they should, they should be able to decide like, I want to pursue how much, or like I just want to move on with life at their own, at their own comfort level, because I think their own recovery is more important than 这种 revenge or not revenge lah. Yeah. Do you think we should push for like such young victims to feel safe about speaking up? We should just allow them, if you think that, I want to close this chapter of my life, then we allow them and support them to move on.
It works both ways. If they want to have a good support, or they are open up to share, maybe perhaps one day this girl become the lawyer or something, go and fight back for further revenge. Yeah, those kind of Taiwan drama, like 30 years down the road. Back.
I just wish this Ian Fang is not like Edison Chen where he created such a 大风波, and then 10 plus years later people forget, then he's like making a comeback secretly as another celebrity, or saying that, I'm a changed person, I'm back again. Please.
And we're going to take a quick break in the podcast to thank our friends at CityMusic, one of Singapore's true pioneer in the music space. CityMusic has long been known as a go-to destination for musical instruments, but they've also been making big headway in audio and video equipment, especially for creators and podcasters. From guitars and pianos to audio interfaces, microphones, and even video recording equipment, CityMusic is true one-stop shop for everything music and content creation related, with options for every budget.
In fact, the audio you're hearing right now is recorded using the Zoom ZD-M1 mic, an amazing broadcast-style microphone that delivers professional quality sound on par with other big-name podcast mics, but at nearly half the price. It's proof that you don't have to overspend to sound great. Huge thank you to our friends at CityMusic, not just for this awesome giveaway, but for being a pioneer in the music space and for making sure creators, musicians, and podcasters always have the right equipment for whatever budget and setup they want. CityMusic, powering your sound, your music, and your content.
Our third news is actually linked to the Property Lim Brothers saga. Now, over 100 agents are leaving Melvin's Lim KW Singapore following Property Lim Brothers saga. So, Mothership actually reported on February 8 that over 100 agents, nearly 2/3 of KW's 157, are leaving due to the late January turmoil. KW Singapore is of course the local franchise of US-based Keller Williams Realty and the world's largest real estate network by agent count. Launched in mid-2025 with a 10 million valuation to shake out Singapore's property market through high agent commissions, AI tools, media production, and training programs. Jordan, when you first heard this news, right, what was your first reaction and why do you think so many agents are leaving?
Before I go into this, my previous company I worked in, I'm not gonna name names and name the company. So this boss kind of personality and the way he presents himself very similar to Melvin, but when coming to back end, screw you upside down. Hey, what the fuck you are doing? I didn't ask for this. I asked for this. Go and do it. Go and think about it. I don't pay you this money to give me these shits. So with this kind of boss personality that only needs to be glorified but cannot disgrace him in front of the cameras or something, leads to this kind of toxicated cultures. Actually, the colleagues is okay. It's helping each other, but then there's a few that is very like to angkat bola kind. Yeah, Grace is the angkat bola kind. Until that really, Melvin really like, sorry.
She's the literal angkat bola. Literally angkat bola, this one.
But it's a sinking ship lah. If I am the one, I was just how it is.
I feel that this kind of expose, right, they only magnify what is already there. Let's say they do good or they do like a lot of good and then something bad happens. I think don't need people to say, right, other people will speak for them. Actually 私底下他们不是这样的. I don't know what happened, this kind of thing. It has happened before. We have seen this kind of cases, right? But the fact that the expose come out, right, I see so many people throw rock, throw stone at them, throw rock, throw stone at this whole case, right? So I think it really says a lot about what is happening behind the scenes before this actual, explosion happened lah. ERA and Propnex 真的是捡到现成的便宜啊. They got all these like top salesmen going to them. Yeah, like you suddenly your sales for the next few months is like 哇一下子变得很高这样子. Okay, how important do you think like the face of a company is? Let's say this figurehead change already, or let's say this figurehead kena pull down. What's the effect it has on a company?
Zero seriously. Like someone can buy over and just rename. It's like, it's as good as who created Apple? Steve Jobs. He created Apple, but then the board member get him fired, but then he still come back.
I think what Jordan say is in the case where the company is robust enough, they can function even without the figurehead around. Okay, I agree that that might work. Okay, but I really think in this case, like I say, once the expose happen, it shine a light and then it just magnifies all the thing that has already been going on. So if bad things are already going on, then it's just going to shine even more light on bad things lah. I think that the biggest loser in all this is like all these agents 突然间要 they have to find a new home, they have to find a new company, and then all that's left over is just all these victims and all these people licking their own wounds only. Yeah, we would like to go with a round of quick fire news for the Alamak meter. Now, the first news is former Worker Party chief Lao Jiaos was spotted participating in the party's Hammer Outreach walkabout in Tampines, Punggol and Kovan last weekend. Despite retiring from politics in 2024, his increased visibility has fueled speculation that he might be coming back lah. So
yeah, I would think it's a smart move. But then I did think about it that I don't think PAP is stupid enough to let him come in straight away, right? It will be until the next election.
On the WP side, they are trying to 稳住军心啦. They're trying to stabilize people's trust in them lah. Yeah, which is why they bring back a familiar figure and someone that everybody love inside their heart lah. Or at least for me lah. Yeah.
So I think Lotakiang's campaign for next election starts now.
Vote for me, I'm back. The second news. A 25-year-old Singaporean man was arrested on February 5 for his suspected involvement in over 35 e-commerce scams on Carousel. Now, he advertised pre-order sales of limited edition Pokemon trading card, resulted in losses of exceeding 135,000. What the fuck? Okay, after victims paid him via PayNow or bank transfer, then he became uncontactable or cited delivery delays and is facing cheating charges in court on February 7.
That amount of money within that short amount spent is smart lah. Now really depends is how many days inside the jail.
This reminds me, right? That's last time in army I don't know who tell me, he said, 你有没有想过你 AWOL 6个月你去做 DB maximum 60天而已 Something like that. This equation doesn't work out Yeah, I forget who tell me So this is either smart or dumb depending on the length of the sentence lah. The third news. In a Reddit post shared on February 5th, Samuel Lee, which is the ex-PPP member, was spotted in a singlet delivering a box of pastries tagged with a GrabFood receipt. Now, he actually responded to the post online in good humor and added that both his stints in food delivery and security are honest work.
Smart, honest work, what? There's nothing wrong. Yeah. I just only need to look left, look right, look left, look right. 向左走还是向右走
Jordan, I have to say, this was smart because before this, right, I didn't have a very good impression of him. I thought that he was in politics to gain fame only. Okay, but seeing how he reacted to the social media post, right, I'm actually quite impressed and I'm actually turning my opinion of him, and actually he seems quite likable now to me lah. That was our Lao Jiaos podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please remember to like and subscribe. If an episode that comes out every Friday, but at the same time, if you have football with the football kaki that drops every Wednesday, and our Kopio show where we interview fun and amazing guests from around Singapore every Monday. Now, we hope that everyone has a great week ahead, but remember,
we don't always talk,
but sometimes we do.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.